Hi everyone and welcome back to the next diecast. For today's video I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Porsche 918 Spyder made by Welly. I found this model on sale on American Excellence for $35 and I think for that price this is a really good deal. You can find it elsewhere for usually between I want to say like $40 and maybe $65. These Wellys are generally kind of hard to find on certain websites. Like I didn't see any on Amazon as of now. American Excellence still has several of these 918 Spyders. As far as colors go, it comes in this really cool white with the black interior and these cool wheels, as you see here. It also comes in like a dark metallic gray, and I believe red and yellow as well. And Welly also makes the Weissike package of the 918 Spyder, which has, I think, special like silver wheels and a black top and some other details like that. But as far as other models of this car go, the only other options you really have are from Mini Champs and Auto Art, and they can go for hundreds of dollars. So while this budget model from Welly is sometimes slightly overpriced, it's pretty much the only choice you have. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because it really does have a lot of detail on it for the price range that it goes for. So we'll go ahead and get into the details of this model. We'll start up here with the front of the car. I think Welly did an excellent job with the headlights, as you see here. Absolutely no gap whatsoever between the plastic and the metal, which looks great. And the lenses and bulbs are very well done, too. Almost looks like the lights are turned on when you look at it from like a far distance, too. These lower grills down here are nicely done as well. They're not like fully perforated, but they do look good. And they're nice and tight. They're not like loose or anything like that. And you kind of have a carbon fiber pattern on this lower lip here. And the Porsche badge in the center is a very well done. Might be a bit too small, but it's very clear and it's not, smeared or anything. It's not like a separate piece or separate badge, but I think Welly did a nice job with painting it on there. Moving along to the side here, I think Welly did an excellent job with these wheels. I love this particular style of wheels overall, like with the 918 Spyder, especially on the white and the charcoal gray versions. They just look awesome. But Welly did an excellent job with replicating these wheels. They look like they're right off the Auto Art version. They're just so well done with like the fine detailing and paint. You get a tiny little Porsche badge in the center there. And the disc brakes and calipers are also well detailed. They're just kind of hard to see because there are so many spokes on these wheels, but you do get the bright green brake calipers and the silver discs that actually move through them as you spin the wheels. And you do get nice steering and suspension too. Wellys always have like very quiet sounding steering and suspension. Like other budget models like Maestro's, if you do the suspension, it's kind of like a chunky, like cushy noise, but on this one it's actually very quiet. On the side you will see an e-hybrid badge on here because this is a hybrid car. It's a plug-in hybrid actually, and it's powered by a V8. The overall fit and finish of all the panel gaps and everything I think looks good. There is kind of a gap between the door here, but if you get a darker color you won't even like really see that. The side mirrors are done in separate plastic pieces, and they're very sturdy. Welly also did a nice job with these caps on here. This is actually where you would plug in the car. It almost looks like you can take the cap off, and it's actually on both sides too. And it looks good, just like it does on the real car. Taking a look at the back, I think Welly did an excellent job with the Porsche inscription and also the 918 Spyder inscription back here. I didn't know that this was actually a light green inscription on the real car, but it is. And it really stands out on the white version because you can really see it like nice and clear. I think on the charcoal gray version it should be light green too, but on the white version it really stands out more. Welly also did an excellent job with the taillights. You can see the LED pattern. No pegs to be seen. I forgot to mention that about the headlights too. There's no pegs or anything. And these grills back here look very well done. Almost looks like real mesh too. And this lower, I want to say lip, or this, I guess it's the diffuser or something back here. That's actually a separate plastic piece, and I think Welly did a great job. The overall paint quality on this model, I would say, is very well done. It's not a metallic white, but if you opt for the charcoal gray version, it will be a metallic color. The red and yellow versions are non-metallic, but they still look good, I think. Now, an interesting feature about this model is that you can actually get this targa roof to come off. Mine just comes off like so. But when you get the model, this will actually be kind of fastened onto the car. On the windshield, you will get kind of these two notches with holes in them. And on the roof panel, there's actually two tabs that the notches are actually fastened into. Now on the back here, there's nothing holding these two tabs in place. You can just kind of pull it off like that. And what I did was I kind of lightly bent the roof until it kind of until I was able to kind of bend it off. And then what I did was I shaved down with a hobby knife this part of the windshield here, so it was nice and smooth. So that way it looks like there never were tabs. Now, when you're bending the roof piece off, you won't actually have to worry about the windshield frame breaking because it is a fully framed piece of metal. And it does look really cool, like with the roof off, the 918 Spyder. Now, this should, of course, be two separate panels, but Welly, of course, they didn't intend this to come off, and they didn't really advertise the fact that it comes off, but you can easily like remove it, as I did here. It kind of looks better, I think, as a single piece roof. And on the underside, it is actually nicely detailed. There's actually a nice like liner, and these four like kind of dots on there, they will be white, so I just kind of colored them in with like a black Sharpie so they kind of match the rest of the roof. And the paint quality on the piece itself isn't really that great. You can tell it's kind of peeling a little bit, like off to the sides here. This is a plastic component, so maybe that's why. But if you opt for the roof off version, you won't even have to worry about that. I got the version with the roof because it was the version that was on sale. For whatever reason, American Excellence had the version with the roof on sale at the regular price, but the version without the roof was like a regular price. So this is kind of an unofficial opening feature on this model, I would say. And there are less kind of risky ways to remove it. I saw a video where a collector, he actually unscrewed the base of the car and removed it, and he was able to access the underside of the roof, and he was able to cut the tabs on the front that hold it in place on the windshield here. For me, I just kind of went for it and just kind of took it off. Now, even with the tabs gone, the roof actually still fits into place, and it's not loose or anything. Like if you turn the car like this, it won't fall out. So I think that's a cool touch. It would have been nice if Welly had just kind of made this removable without, us collectors having to do that extra step there. Now, speaking of opening features, you don't really get many on this model. For example, the front luggage compartment does not open on here. Of course, on the Auto Art and Main Champs versions, it will open. I guess maybe as a cost-saving measure, but a lot of times Welly includes these opening fixtures. I was kind of confused as to why they didn't have that. So that's one kind of flaw for the higher price range of like $60, is that you won't get the opening front compartment. And also back here, the engine cover. On the real car, I believe it's fully removable. It's not hinged or anything. You can just take it right off. Welly didn't include that as an opening feature, but on the Mini Champs version, it's the same deal. It just stays on the car. But the detail you can see of the engine, I think Welly did a great job with. These are the exhaust pipes that are actually up here instead of on the lower portion of the car. And Welly, I think, did a nice job with replicating those. And this kind of vented piece in the center here, it actually is a true vent on both sides, too. That's actually a separate piece, and I think Welly did a great job with that. And I really love the look that the engine cover has of this kind of like mesh glass texture. I think Welly did an excellent job with that, too. And it really stands out like on the white car, too. So although it doesn't open, what you can see without it being open, I think Welly did a great job with detailing and replicating. Now, fortunately, you do get the opening doors on this model, which open up like so. And they're actually very tight and built very strong. And when you close them, they actually click into place. So they won't, they won't ever get loose and whatnot. So I think that's a nice touch that a Welly had on there. So detailing on the door panels, I think, is very well done. You get a nice carbon fiber texture going across the top portion and a separate painted door handle that's on here. And there's actually a speaker and some carbon fiber texturing on the lower half, too. And the door panels are nice and fit and flush with the actual door, too. And you actually get a nice kind of light green stripe going across, because this does have kind of the light green accent package where the borders of the seats along with the door panels, they have that kind of light green accents. Speaking of the seats, I think Welly did an excellent job with the overall detailing of the seats. You can see they have a 918 Spyder inscription in bright green on the headrest, as well as the molded Porsche logo up above there. On the real seats, that's actually like a stitched-in detail, which I think looks incredible. And Welly did an awesome job with like the light green pattern on the seats. It really does look cool, especially paired up with the white and even the dark gray. Just like the border of like the light green on there. The seats have a nice texture as well, but keep in mind that the seats actually have the same texture as the dashboard and the floor, which really does a lot, I guess, to kind of save on cost of different types of plastic. But either way, I think they look good. And you also get seat belts behind the seats too. They're just kind of hard to see. And between the seats and the door sill, you will notice that there is a carbon fiber texture of plastic, which is a very cool touch. And between the seats, there's even more carbon fiber texturing, and also a really tiny kind of rear window here, which is actually a separate piece. It almost looks like glass too. I think Welly did an excellent job. Detail on the dashboard and the center stack looks very well done. Welly separately painted on all the buttons you see on the center stack here. It has that kind of glossy finish, just like the real center stack does. It's actually a slight bit loose on mine. Actually, I think I might have fixed it just now. But you can always just pop that piece off and glue it back in if you have that same problem. And you do get some kind of silver detailing on the dashboard here, and also these kind of three-dimensional vents, which look great. The steering wheel is incredibly well detailed. All the buttons are on there, that nice finely detailed badge in the center, and also the silver kind of accents that are on there. And you can see the really tiny red engine start button that's below there. Here it is kind of spinning with the wheels too. And you do get a nice rear view mirror on here too. You do get nicely detailed pedals. They're just kind of hard to see because they are painted in black. Would have been cool if they'd done it in kind of like a brushed, like silver look. But they are there, and they are very well detailed, I would say. I think Welly also did a good job with the gauge cluster too. It's actually 3 separate kind of pieces for the gauges, and they have a nice kind of chrome border on the fronts of them. It looks like the real, and it looks just like the real thing. I think Welly did a really good job with that. And of course, on the dashboard, you do get that nice kind of light green accent border around it, which looks very, very cool. All right, taking a look at the undercarriage, there really is nothing to see down here because on the real car, of course, they cover up the underside for more aerodynamics. So that's really all I can say about the undercarriage. So if you can find this model, especially for the sale price I got it at, for like $35, I'd say that it's a great deal. It may be a bit pricey if you get past the $50 range, but considering it's the only model in 1/18 scale of the 918 Spyder you can get for under $100, I would say it's definitely worth buying. And of course, you do get the versions with or without the roof, and in all different colors as well. As always, I hope this video was helpful, and feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on either the model or the real 918 Spyder. Thanks for watching.